Okay, the question is Africans or Hebrews? Are we African Americans or Hebrews? Okay, what happened to the original people who lived in North Africa and the land of Canaan? And here's a picture of the area of North Africa and the land of Canaan. So what happened to the people who used to live here? Okay, another question, but who are the African Americans, blacks, Negroes, and Negroes descendants of? Christian, Islamic, and Jewish scholars have spread a narrative that the black captives of the transatlantic slave trade are descendants of Ham. This is from the New York Times.com in 2003, an article called From Noah's Curse to Slavery. This has been found to be untrue. One source that disproves this notion is the Zonderville Compact Bible Dictionary, copyright 1967 and 1993, on page 213. It states that Ham is the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He has become the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. And the same source states that Japhet occupied the isles of the Gentiles, and this leaves the remaining son, Shem. Shem is the son of Noah, is the second son of Noah, according to the Zonderville Compact Bible Dictionary, and the progenitor of the Semitic race. Through the process of elimination, we will be a part of this group. The Bible describes the ancient Hebrews as a people of color. 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 12 says, it's talking about the choosing of King David to be king. And it says, and he sent and brought him in. Now he was ready and withal of beautiful countenance and goodly to look to. And Yahuwah said, arise, anoint him, for he is he. The color that was used to describe King David or Dawid is ruddy. And in the picture, I have a picture of a ruddy cow, which is red, but it's a reddish brown, which is also the color of dirt, especially if you're in the South, you see it's the color of southern dirt. And is also the color of a lot of our skin. And another color that is used to describe the color of the way that the Israelites looked is the color black. In Job chapter 30, verse 30, it says, my skin is black upon me, and my bones are burnt with heat. And this seems to describe someone who is malnourished. When people of color become malnourished, a lot of times their skin gets darker. When a person who is non-melanated becomes malnourished, a lot of times they become pale. Another example is Moshe, Yahusha, and Shaul were all mistaken to be Egyptians. In Exodus chapter 2, verse 10, it says, and the child grew, and she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses, or Moshe. And she said, because I drew him out of water. This is describing Moses, or Moshe, who is an Israelite of the tribe of Levi, during the time when all of the Israelite children, babies, were supposed to be killed. The daughter of the Pharaoh who issued the order to kill the Israelite babies adopted him as her son, and the Pharaoh, the father of the daughter, wasn't able to tell the difference. So he must look just like the Egyptians, which the Zonderville Bible Dictionary says is a descendant of Ham, which is one of the darker races. Matthew chapter 2, verse 13 says, and they were departed. Oh, and when they departed, behold, the angel of Yahuwah appeareth to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be there thou until I bring thee word from here, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. So in this situation, Joseph was trying to hide Yahusha from Herod, who wanted to destroy Yahusha. So he hid amongst darker people, which shows that Yahusha and Joseph looked like the Egyptians. So they must have been dark too. And then in Acts, um, someone is speaking to Shaul in Acts chapter 21, verse 28, says, art not thou that Egyptian, which before these days madest an uproar? So Moshe was confused as being an Egyptian, which is a descendant of Ham, who was one of the darker races. So he must have been dark himself. So these are examples that show that the Israelites were a dark people. Many Africans say that African Americans are a lost people who lost our heritage and don't even know who we really are. Deuteronomy prophesied that this very thing would happen to the Israelites. In Deuteronomy 28:28, it says, Yahuwah shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Deuteronomy 28:45 says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearken not unto the voice of Yahuwah thy Elohim, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So when you look at all of the people in the world today, and you think about people that have gone through these very things, there's only one group of people where this is a sign that where this is a sign. Like when people think of African Americans, they think of this very exact thing. Like a lot of times slavery comes to mind. The slave trade by Portuguese, Spaniards, French, Dutch, British, European Jews, Arabs, and Indians is one main reason why the Afro-Negro world presence is seen all over the world. And this picture only shows the triangular slave trade. It only shows the transatlantic slave trade. It's not showing the Arab slave trade. And it's showing us going to the, the whole world basically. It's showing us going to North America, South America, different parts in Africa, Europe, Asia. It's showing us going to the whole world, and it's not even the whole slave trade. The book Nature Knows No Color Line. In the book Nature Knows No Color Line, Waite says, an interesting gradation of all shades down to black is exhibited by the Jews. And this statement was taken from his book called The Anthropology of Primitive Peoples by Dr. Theodore Waite in 1865. So all the way back in 1865, they were saying that the Jews come in all colors, which includes our color. Genesis chapter 9, verse 27. Yah shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents or territories of Shem. These pictures below here, these pictures show royalty in different countries in Europe, not just one country, but a few countries in Europe. It shows King Charles of France in 1338 as a Negro. It shows King Stephen Euros III of Serbia in 1331, and it shows Dorothy, Princess of Denmark and Duchess of Prussia in 1504. So this shows people that look like us ruling and sitting in high places in Europe, in places where Japheth rules now. So when you go to the next slide, shows Jeremiah 17:4 says, "And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever." So this shows that we went from being in that high place that we saw on the previous slide to being ruled over and being in a subservient level because of our disobedience. And because of our disobedience in those other places, the tents of Japheth is ruling in the tents of Shem, and we're serving in lands that we didn't previously know. Oh, and then this picture is an earlier 20th century photos of African American servants. In the book Mein Kampf, what's his name? I'm having a block. I know his name, but I'm having a block. Hitler. Adolf Hitler said that America has stolen the Jews of God, his jewelry, the Negroes. They are the true Hebrews. This is a quote in the book Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler as he was talking to some of people who worked for him. And the scriptures say, and he said unto Abraham, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards they shall come out with great substance. I stated that verse because Hitler was saying that that once the world finds out the truth that America has taken God's jewelry, and has enslaved them, then the white citizens of America will be terrified to know that this time they've been mistreating and lynching the children of Israel, and they will fear that Yah will destroy them as he destroyed Egypt for doing the same thing. And that's exactly what Yahuwah said to Abraham would happen after 400 years. And just so happens, people are waking up around the time that the 400-year acknowledgement was made by the people who took us, the government that took us. So at the same time that 400-year acknowledgement of our enslavement was made, around that same time, a lot of us were waking up. And around that same time, right after judgment occurred, not just in America, but all over the whole world. There's a pandemic going on over the entire world. And it is my belief that it has a lot to do with this prophecy that was made. And the prophecy, well, all of the evidence that was just displayed through this presentation are all reasons that point to the African Americans being, or the Negroes being the Hebrews.